Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Dallas Cowboys urged to pursue recently released offensive weapon. The Dallas Cowboys have had a relatively quiet NFL offseason so far. While most moves have been made and teams are ready to get training camp started, Jerry Jones and company could still be interested in improving the roster. Heading into what is expected to be a massive 2024 season with major implications, the Cowboys need to be aggressive if something comes available that fits a need. One of the main needs for the team currently could be adding another weapon for star quarterback Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Tolbert are the top three names on the wide receiver depth chart for the Cowboys. Another wide receiver could stand to be added to the competition. Mims is certainly an interesting player. However, he has never been able to latch on with a team at the NFL level. Standing in at 6'3" and a shade over 200 pounds, Mims has always had insane physical ability. He is fast, can go up and get jump balls, and can make plays with the ball in his hands. Unfortunately, he lacks in other areas that are needed to be a good NFL player. That isn't to say that he hasn't improved in those areas. But, the fact that the Steelers recently cut him seems to suggest that he still hasn't figured out how to maximize his full potential. Signing Mims wouldn't be a bad idea. Bringing him into training camp and seeing if they can get some of his potential out of him makes sense. It's not likely that he'll make the 53-man roster for the regular season, but he could be worth taking a flyer on for the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys trade for 1,200-yard WR to help Dak Prescott in head-scratching proposal. The Dallas Cowboys receiving core is a major unknown, behind CeeDee Lamb, who is mired in contract extension negotiations that have mostly stalled out throughout the offseason. Given that quarterback Dak Prescott and head coach Mike McCarthy are also in the final year of their respective contracts, it is entirely conceivable that the Cowboys would look to add a veteran receiver at some point this summer before the 2024 NFL season kicks off. There's also the chance that a familiar face with experience in the Cowboys' offense could become available. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox suggests the Saints could deal Wilson to the Cowboys during training camp later this summer. The 28-year-old could have a hard time earning playing time behind Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed and second-year man A.T. Perry, Knox points out for BR. The Saints also signed Equanimeous St. Brown and used a fifth-round pick on Bob Means. If the Saints deem Wilson expendable by the end of camp, they could look to acquire some draft capital and $1.4 million in 2024 cap space by trading him. If that happens, Dallas should be very interested. Wilson spent the first 4 years and 3 seasons of his career, he was on injured reserve as a rookie, with Prescott and the Cowboys and had a breakout campaign in 2021. He had 45 catches, 602 yards and 6 touchdowns that season as Dallas' number 3 receiver. It is certainly plausible that the Saints would trade away Wilson, but it remains to see how likely, especially after allowing Michael Thomas to hit free agency. Olave is a legitimate deep threat and Shaheed is a rising star. However, Wilson provides quality veteran depth at what has become a premium position across the NFL, which might make it unlikely that the Saints would ultimately wind up trading him. A Wilson reunion with the Cowboys makes some sense, but, given that Dallas did not sign him when he was available as a free agent earlier this offseason, it would seem highly questionable that the franchise would trade an asset for him this summer. Just released WR should pique Cowboys' interest as potential signing. Tuesday was a big day for Dallas Cowboys fans as the franchise revealed that this year's training camp will officially begin on July 22. In other words, we're just a month away from finding out if America's team looks like they're any closer to ending their Super Bowl drought than they were last year. Training camp isn't for another 30-something days, though, meaning the Cowboys have more time to add warm bodies for the summer. Spotrac lists Dallas as having only 87 players under contract at the moment, meaning that the team still has room to add another 3 players to help elevate the competition. Fortunately, the perfect player to fill one of those spots was just made available. Veteran wide receiver Denzel Mims was released by the Pittsburgh Steelers on Wednesday, per NFL insider Adam Schefter. The former Baylor playmaker was drafted 59th overall by the New York Jets in 2020 and spent the 2023 campaign with the Steelers and Detroit Lions practice squads. Mims showed plenty of promise during his 4-year run with the Bears. The Dangerfield, Texas native hit the 1,000-yard mark twice in his final 3 seasons at Baylor and even earned first-team All-Big 12 honors for his 2019 performance: 66 receptions, 1,020 yards, 12 touchdowns. It was easy to see why the Jets used a second-round pick on Mims after his breakout year. Unfortunately, he was unable to put things together at the NFL level. He played 30 games across 3 seasons with New York, hauling in 42 of 92 targets, 45.7%, for 676 receiving yards without a touchdown. The Jets decided to give Mims a fresh start last summer, shipping him and a conditional 2025 7th-round pick to the Lions for a 6th-rounder. Various leg-related injuries led to Mims being released by Detroit before the end of the preseason, allowing him to join Pittsburgh's practice unit until this week's release. While Mims' NFL track record hasn't been the best, he's only 26 years old and could still develop into a decent depth wideout. The top of the Cowboys' WR depth chart, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, is set. However, you can argue that the rest of the order could go in several directions. If a change of scenery does help, Mims could quickly find himself in the mix. It also helps that the ex-Bear would likely be an instant local fan favorite. He grew up 2 hours outside of Dallas in Dangerfield before spending his high school and collegiate playing years in Texas. Who knows? Perhaps a homecoming could help him realize the potential that scouts saw in him 4 years ago. Interestingly enough, this isn't the first time that Dallas has been linked to the veteran playmaker. Sports Illustrated's Mike Fisher reported that the Jets had offered Mims to the Cowboys last July. However, the Lions swooped in and pulled off the deal first. Maybe the second attempt will be the charm? We'll see if a potential Mims signing helps move the needle regarding the Cowboys' 2024 outlook. Dallas certainly wouldn't mind the extra hand given that it's plus 145 odds to win the NFC East next season, ranked second best on FanDuel Sportsbook. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Denzel Mims? Leave your opinion in the comments.